What's up, everyone? This is my show, Guardians of Peace. I've rewritten it because I want to move on to other Star Wars projects and just put out pitches in a single video instead of episode by episode. Before we jump in, if you're a Star Wars fan, hit that like button and subscribe because we've got more content like this coming your way. All right, let's get into it. Section 1, the premise. So here's the setup. This series takes place in the Old Republic era, thousands of years before the Skywalker saga. The Jedi Order is at its beginnings during a canon first Sith schism. We follow multiple interconnected storylines that all lead to one massive revelation. The seeds of the Sith's eventual rise and the Jedi's fall were planted way earlier than anyone realized. Our main characters include Falstar Arespected Jedi Master dealing with a dark family secret, Sorvin, Kale Falstar's Padawan, who's about to have his entire worldview shattered, Atheron Voss, a 12-year-old Force-sensitive kid who survives a terrifying attack, Corvus, a fallen Jedi turned something far more dangerous, Valdoran Srey, a tortured soul being molded into a weapon, and Valindra Solvane, a senator caught between loyalty and morality. Now let's break down the 3 acts of Season 1. Section 2. Act 1 is episodes 1 through 3, and it's called Shadows in the Sand. This is where we establish our characters and build to a mind-blowing reveal. Episode 1, Embers. We open with Jedi Master Falstar meditating in the Jedi Temple. He feels a disturbance in the Force, something ancient and personal that he can't quite identify. Cut to the Outer Rim, a desert world called Atheron. A young boy named Atheron Voss is playing with his sister in a market when suddenly the sky darkens. Ships descend, red lightsabers ignite. Enter Corvus. This guy is terrifying. He's not just attacking randomly, he's testing the boy. Atheron instinctively uses the Force to save his sister, but in doing so, he exposes himself. Corvus brands him with a lightsaber burn across his shoulder and whispers, "You'll remember this day when you come looking for me." The Jedi arrive too late. Falstar's Padawan Sorvin Kale and his fellow Knight Thalion Veyra find only ash and traumatized survivors. Atheron is taken to the temple, marked, silent, and deeply traumatized. Meanwhile, on a frozen moon, we meet Valdoran Srey. He's kneeling before a hooded figure whose voice is calm, almost paternal, but absolutely poisonous. This figure calls Valdoran "my son" and teaches him to bleed a kyber crystal. The screams of the crystal mirror Valdoran's own pain. At the same time, Senator Valindra Solvane receives an encrypted message with a name, Corvus, and a warning. He's only the beginning. Episode 2, The Thread Unravels. Sorvin and Thalion track Corvus to a Republic outpost in the Mid-Rim. He's slaughtered an entire garrison, but left one survivor, a traumatized officer who keeps repeating, "He said his master is watching. His master is coming." Sorvin becomes obsessed with this. Every lead mentions the master, not some ancient Sith legend, someone current, someone organizing all of this. Back on Coruscant, Valindra is navigating Senate politics, but her real loyalty is to Valdoran, her childhood friend. She believes she's protecting him from the Jedi who abandoned him. She uses her position to feed him intelligence, but doubt starts creeping in when she sees surveillance footage of his recent kills. At the Jedi Temple, Atheron refuses to speak. Falstar tries to reach him, but the boy flinches at every gesture. Finally, in a quiet moment, Atheron whispers, "He said I was important. He said someone is waiting for me." Falstar's blood runs cold. The episode ends with Sorvin decrypting a Sith holocron fragment. It contains a single phrase in ancient text. "The flame that died was never extinguished. It waits in exile, and it knows your name." Episode 3, The Name in the Fire. This is the Act 1 finale, and it's absolutely devastating. The Jedi Council convenes an emergency session. Sorvin presents his findings. The master behind Corvus and Valdoran isn't a myth. He's Kale Solinar, a legendary Jedi High Master who was presumed dead 30 years ago in a temple fire. Here's the twist. Kale Solinar is Falstar's older brother. Throughout the episode, we get flashbacks. Young Falstar idolized his brother Kale, who was the Order's brightest mind. But Kale grew disillusioned. He claimed the Jedi were blind to corruption within their own ranks. Then a fire consumed the Archives wing. Kale's body was never found. The Order called him a martyr. Falstar built his entire identity on honoring that legacy. In the present, Falstar's world shatters. The Council debates whether he's compromised. Some call for his removal from the investigation. Falstar, his voice breaking, insists, "If my brother lives, then I failed him. and if he's become this, I'm the only one who can reach him. But here's the real gut punch. Sorvin realizes that his father, his hero, is the architect of everything he's been fighting against. He confronts Falstar, who admits he suspected but refused to believe. Their bond fractures. Sorvin leaves the chamber, his faith in everything completely shaken. The episode ends deep in the unknown regions. Kael Solinar stands before a gathering of disciples, Corvus, Valdoran, and others we haven't seen yet. His face is scarred. His eyes are gentle but merciless. He speaks of the Jedi's coming fall, of a darkness that will consume the galaxy in millennia. He says, "We are not Sith. We are not Jedi. We are the inevitable." 2. The breaking point. Act 2 is episodes 4 through 7, and it's called The Breaking Point. This is where our characters are tested, where loyalties fracture, and where the cost of truth becomes unbearable. Episode 4, Blood and Duty. Falstar is placed under Council surveillance. His every move is watched. He trains alone, haunted by memories of Kael, their childhood, their arguments, the last words they ever spoke. Sorvin distances himself from Thalion, who's trying to be supportive but doesn't understand the weight of legacy. Sorvin begins secretly researching his father's teachings, finding dangerous truths buried in restricted Jedi texts. Aetheron begins training under Falstar, but Corvus's words keep echoing in his mind, "You're destined for more than this." The episode ends with Falstar receiving a message. It's Kael's voice after 30 years of silence. "Little brother, we have much to discuss." Episode 5, Stronger Than Jedi. Corvus confronts a Jedi strike team. He effortlessly dismantles them while quoting Kael's philosophies about the Jedi's weakness and hypocrisy. He leaves one Jedi alive to deliver a message to Falstar: "Your brother didn't fall. He evolved." Meanwhile, Valdoran completes his first true mission, assassinating a Republic admiral who threatened Valindra's position. She's horrified by what he's done. But Valdoran is cold, mechanical. He tells her, "I did this for you." Sorvin discovers a recording of his father's last council testimony. It's a passionate speech about the Order's blindness, their failures, their arrogance. For the first time, Sorvin hears truth in what the Jedi called heresy. Episode 6, The Fracture. This is the tipping point. Sorvin and Thalion are sent to investigate a distress signal. It's a trap set by Valdoran. In the battle that follows, Sorvin hesitates. He sees his father's logic in their enemy's actions. Thalion is wounded. Sorvin saves him, but barely. Thalion asks him, "What's happening to you?" Sorvin responds, "I don't know anymore." Valindra faces her own reckoning. She's summoned to a Republic intelligence hearing. They know she's been leaking information. She's forced to choose, turn on Valdoran or become a traitor to the Republic. And Atheron has a nightmare. Corvus visits him in a Force vision, whispering, "Falstar's brother created me. He'll create you too. It's already begun." Episode 7, The Prophecy's Weight. This is the Act 2 finale and everything converges. Falstar receives coordinates from Kael, an invitation to meet, alone. The Council forbids it. Falstar goes anyway. Sorvin follows in secret. Thalion, realizing what's happening, alerts the Council. Falstar and Kael meet face-to-face on a desolate world for the first time in 30 years. Kael is warm, even loving, but utterly unrepentant. He tells Falstar, "The fire wasn't meant to kill me. It was meant to free me. And you, brother, you're still burning." As Jedi forces arrive to intervene, Sorvin steps between them. He's caught between his master and his father, between two visions of the Force. He says, "Don't make me choose." Kael smiles and responds, "You already have." Cliffhanger. End of Act 2.
Section 4, Act 3, Legacy of Fire.
Act 3 is episodes 8 through 10 or 12, depending on the season length. This is called Legacy of Fire, and it's where everything pays off. Episode 8, The Fire's Origin. Through flashbacks interwoven with the present-day confrontation, we learn the full truth. Kael discovered that the Jedi Council had covered up the massacre of a Force-sensitive colony to protect Republic interests. He confronted the Council. They called him radical, dangerous, a threat. The fire that supposedly killed him was Kael's own doing, a symbolic death. He erased the Jedi who had compromised and spent the next 30 years building something new. Not Sith, not Jedi. A third path, one that will outlast both. Falstar is devastated. He says, "You let me mourn you. You let me build my life on a lie." Kael responds, "I set you free. You were always too good for their hypocrisy." Sorvin watches this exchange, torn, understanding both sides. Episode 9, The Blade Completed. In a ritual witnessed by Kael's disciples, Valdoran fully corrupts his Kyber crystal. The blade burns crimson. Kael names him his true apprentice, displacing Corvus. Corvus watches with quiet rage. Once the favored son, he's now secondary. His obsession with Aetheron intensifies. If he can't be Kael's greatest creation, he'll create his own. Valindra is arrested by Republic intelligence. Valdoran watches from afar and does nothing. He says coldly, she chose her side. And Aetheron, watching Falstar's pain, makes a choice. He will face Corvus, not as a victim, but as a Jedi. Episode 10 or 12, Echoes of Exegol. This is the season finale, and it's epic. Aetheron confronts Corvus on the ruins of his homeworld. The fight is brutal and emotional. Corvus taunts him with prophecy, with destiny, with inevitability. But Aetheron, scarred and still afraid, finds strength not in rage but in choice. He defeats Corvus. He doesn't kill him, but he breaks him, leaving him alive to face Kael's judgment. Sorvin stands with Thalion and the Jedi, but his faith is forever altered. He tells Falstar, "I'll fight beside you, but I'll never stop asking the questions my father asked." Falstar and Kael have their final confrontation. Kael offers his brother one last chance to join him. Falstar refuses, not because Kael is wrong about the Jedi's flaws, but because, as Falstar says, burning it all down isn't the answer. Kael's parting words are chilling. "Then watch it burn without me. In 3,000 years, the Sith will rise from the ashes of what I plant today, and the Jedi will fall, just as I foresaw." And here's the final sequence. On Exegol, a forgotten dark world, Kael buries a holocron deep beneath the sand. Inside are his teachings, his prophecy, his legacy. He records a message. To whoever finds this, the Jedi's end began long before their final battle. It began the day they chose blindness over truth. Remember me. I am Kael Solinar, and I was right. The camera pulls back from Exegol, through space, through time, toward the sequel trilogy era, where we know this message will eventually be found. Conclusion, I think it showed be fucking sick on Disney+. There's no fucking way it would ever get made, especially after The Acolyte bombed. But I fucking like it, and maybe someone from Lucasfilm was watching, but I doubt it. Here's my favorite parts of it. First, it's character-driven tragedy. The relationship between Falstar and Kael, Sorvin's crisis of faith, these are deeply emotional, complex storylines. Second, we have a morally complex antagonist. Kael isn't wrong about the Jedi's flaws. That moral ambiguity makes him terrifying and compelling. Third, all the plot lines are interconnected. Aetheron, Valdoran, Valindra, they all affect each other in meaningful ways. Fourth, it builds Star Wars mythology. Exegol, Proto-Sith philosophy, the legacy that leads to the fall of the Jedi, it all connects. And finally, the themes are universal. Family, faith, the cost of ideals, the seduction of being right. These are the kinds of themes that win Emmys. I think in the future, I would make a season 2, and it would expand Kael's network, make Valdoran the true threat, put Sorvin on a dangerous path, and show Exegol's dark seed beginning to grow. What do you think? Would you watch this show? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.